controversial digital number plates on the way with GPS tech. I don't know if you've seen these at all. There was a video on TikTok about one on a Tesla that this guy had it. Okay. So it's these. They're basically. I'll put a picture here. This is the e-paper displays. So they're the e-ink, the same thing that we saw in that color changing BMW.
This is a less cool way to use that stuff.
Exactly. Less cool technology.
You literally have a Kindle on your back.
Yeah.
Like on your trunk.
Yeah. So they can be battery powered or they can wire directly into your car. So it's kind of neat because everything is taken care of digitally, like your registration, all that kind of stuff is all taken care of. There's also something that I don't know how this doesn't get used incorrectly, but it's not any of these pictures. I'll post a picture of it. Like on the bottom, your little message that like here is like America's Dairyland and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
you can customize it. So you say whatever you want, which sounds bad.
People will abuse that immediately. So
that part, whatever. And I think you can still have custom numbers and stuff like that. Like I think you can still buy a custom plate for it. But the thing that's getting sketchy, so like that all seems fine. It's actually legal right now in 5 states in the U.S.
To use a digital?
To have one of these digital plates. It's from this company. I can't remember the name of it. Don't want to shout them out anyway yet. But
good on them though. I mean,
to pass legislation to like get it there. You're saying, yeah. So
good business move.
The sketchy part, and I get why they advertise this, but there's been a couple slip ups where people have said something that makes you like, what'd you just say? So the car can have like telemetry data integrated in it. So I think as far as like accelerometers, GPS, stuff like that for the owner. So like you can purchase this from their website for I forget how much. Yeah. That's where this goes. So you can, so it's got all the data from your car, or whatever, as far as motion and things like that goes. They're talking about having some integrations too, as far as like tracking how many miles you drive and trying to keep up, like kind of like the maintenance interval kind of a thing. They've talked about some things like that. But then where it got weird was like they were interviewing, I forget, one of the states where they were talking about like these being legal and stuff. And somebody had let it slip where they're like, yeah, and it's really great because then like if your car gets stolen, the police can track it. And they're like, huh? And they're like, yeah, and they can even watch like how they were driving and stuff in the meantime. And you're like, what? No? So I don't know what the back door looks like on that, but it raised
go back.
all these questions.
Go back.
Yeah. We're like, excuse me. And they're like, no questions.
I have questions.
So it seems cool because like, whatever, you can digital license plate. That's kind of neat. It said even like with tolls and stuff, like it'll be your iPass built into it for tolls and things.
It seems super convenient because like I just ordered custom plates for the first time.
Yeah.
It took like a month and a half for them to arrive.
Yep.
So
it does take a while.
Like obviously the registration was updated.
Right.
Like I paid for the registration update.
Right.
And the custom plates at the same time.
Right.
Like I actually mailed it in because you had to do a little form thing.
Right. Which is so funny, right? Then you got to do your backup things and stuff. You check it online, and then you got to go fill out a paper form. And they're like, if yours is taken, which one do you want to use instead? You're like,
right.
Oh, okay.
It's like, well, I just did the one. I'm like, I checked it like 6 times. Nobody else has used it.
Yep.
So sent it in, and I got maybe like a week and a half later, I got like the actual like registration back that said the plate on it.
Sure.
So I had like the registration for my glove box and everything if I did get pulled over. But then I'm driving around so my plate expired in June. I'm driving around till July with an expired plate, technically.
And a plate that doesn't match your registration anymore.
Right. So I show my registration. It's like, well, yeah, that plate's updated, but this isn't that plate. Like this plate's dead now.
Yeah.
So if they scanned it ever, it would show a dead plate probably.
Oh my gosh.
So like
That's
that
funny.
would fix this.
Right.
Like the convenience part of it would be super nice because you could just go, I'm just going to buy a new plate.
Right.
Like I'm sure revenue from the DMV for custom plates would go up like crazy.
Right.
Because if you could just hook it up to their website and you could go on there and maybe it's cheaper because they don't have to actually print the plates out.
I'd hope it'd be cheaper because it doesn't mean anything.
It's like $75 for a custom plate. Which is like, I don't know. I didn't think it was that terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's like $20, whatever, to change your plate every time and you can just constantly keep changing your plate if you want to.
It maybe doesn't matter as much to change your plate because if you can have that custom message beneath it. And that's the thing I couldn't find total clarification on is it looked like there was messages you could choose from. I don't know how custom you can go with it, but some of them seemed so weird and so like unique that I thought maybe you can punch it in. But
sure.
But
I
it's
wonder
got
if
all
you could
that
make
there.
like a little like cheat thing for your dash so if someone's following you too close, it's like back off.
Dude, if they can
put all
read the
messages.
subtext underneath your license plate, that'd be bad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
you got a little keyboard in here. You're like, this guy's driving me crazy.
Yeah, right.
Type the thing in.
Well, that
Get
was
off
like
my
that.
tail.
What was that truck? The ugly. I hate it, but Tyler liked it a lot. I forget the name of that truck. But that with the light bar on the top, and you can put messages in that, and you're like,
oh sure,
not bad idea.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's what the heck is coming. It seems kind of sketchy because they let that slip. It'd be really cool. Like there's a different version of it for like fleet vehicles. So
Sure,
if you've
that
got
makes
like
sense.
a bunch, yeah, that totally makes sense for that. Work vehicles make sense. It just gets weird as far as the privacy thing. And like, what is your right to privacy with something
Right.
like this when you have a government issued plate on your car? But now, if it's digital, do they have access to that? Because that's a huge
Yeah.
invasion of privacy and
Right.
all those questions into
Well, they
consideration.
can just so the scenarios we're thinking of are you get pulled over,
right.
and they don't even have to like faster. They don't have to do that
Right.
whole thing. They don't
Right.
even have to scan you. They just hold their little thing to the back of your car.
Right.
They're like, oh, you just went in the last 15
Right.
minutes. You went
Right.
over
Oh,
the
it looks
speed
like
limit
you
this
went over
much.
the speed limit 6 times today. So we're just gonna say, or maybe they don't even pull you over
They
anymore.
just
get
mail you a ticket.
Right. Right.
Because it knows GPS location. Like,
Right.
so that was, I didn't realize how far advanced like GPS tracking speed limits has gone. Does that, if that makes sense?
Mhm.
So the RV we were driving was, I think it's from like 2010 or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
And anytime you go over the speed limit, it would go through all the speakers. You are over the speed limit. So,
What?
Because it had GPS built into it.
But
So-
that really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it would like say, and it would like, of course, not be super accurate for construction zones or
Sure.
like things that have different speed limits temporarily.
Sure.
But
But like
so
for the most part, it was pretty
that's
odd.
already all there. So like, yeah, this would be easy enough where
Right.
I'd be more like what they have that in Europe, kind of,
Right.
where it's like just the speed cameras. It's
Oh,
like
right.
You
Right.
don't get pulled over maybe a lot, but you
Yeah.
just get tickets in the
Yeah,
mail.
Illinois has a lot of those too, like for
Yeah.
rolling stops and stuff
Right,
like that.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could totally just use that.
Right.
Ticket revenue would go through the roof.
Right.
It would be like
Right.
there'd be no more like going out and testing your car
Right.
or whatever.
Right.
Of like,
Yeah, no, if you go do they're like, yeah, we noticed you drive this circle like pretty frequently,
Yeah.
pretty fast.
it's just my track.
Yeah,
What
so,
are you talking
I just replaced vacuum lines. I had to see.
Officer,
I don't know what to tell you.
I just put a new turbo on.
right.
And I needed to test it. That was like when I got pulled over
Oh,
in my
yeah,
Audi.
yeah.
And I was like, I just put new exhaust on. Like, I just want
I
to
just
hear
wanted
it.
to, I just want to hear
I'm
it. Sorry.
sorry.
Honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
But no, it's so my two things. One, as for me and my house, we will stick with regular license plates.
Metal plates.
But
I want analog plates. only.
or if we're gonna do this, we're gonna get like at some point, I'm sure the whole like just get a ticket in the mail or just get it
Yeah.
direct deposited or where like I'm sure
They
that's
just take
all
it out
gonna
of your
be.
account.
No, I'm sure it's going there at some point. Is like
Yeah,
that's
will
gonna
be
be way more
integrated.
regulated.
Yeah.
If we're gonna do that, the only way that I think, whatever you want to run down that route, you have to make doing motorsportsy things in like responsible ways more acceptable. Like not make it a like encourage more of that to like get
Right.
people's stuff out there because it feels like in the world of like lawyers and liability and all this other stuff like the parking lot events, the things like that have kind of been frowned upon of like, well, it's irresponsible use of your car or whatever. But it's
Right.
like, okay, but either it's gonna be I'm gonna go find a track locally, like in Mexico, or like
There will be no more Mexico.
yeah, I know, like
to test your car. in.
Mexico is no longer.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to have more like local car clubs and like
Yeah.
encourage that almost. So there's like responsible ways to enjoy it.
It's almost
Or-
like they'd have to go back to like the police blocking off
I was
streets
just gonna
to do
say
drag
that.
racing.
Just
and
gonna
stuff.
say that. Like you'd have to go back to that time when they're like, okay, we're gonna this section now, whatever. Like, okay, your tracking is off now. Have fun in this area or whatever.
Yeah,
do
right.
that. But
Well,
I
okay,
don't
so
know.
now
that being said,
How-
I'm not good with this at all.
Yeah,
but
right.
like, okay, if
if
we're
it's gonna
gonna
happen,
if we're
yeah.
going there, yeah, let me
Well,
enjoy it somewhere.
how long is it going to take until the first person hacks it and turns off all the like say they go, all right, this is the new
Jailbreak
license
their
plate.
license
Yeah.
plate. Where
Like,
are we living?
This is the new license plate everybody has to use.
Yeah.
And like we can track your speed, we can send you tickets,
Yeah.
whenever.
Yeah, I'm
Like-
sure they're gonna say it that clearly. It's really great for the driver. It's really
Yeah, right.
helpful.
Saves waste and
Yeah.
whatever. But immediately there's going to be someone
Oh,
who
yeah.
comes up with whatever, especially if it's hardwired to your car.
Yeah.
Like your tune is not only going to like tune your engine and everything, it's going to like shut off.
Mm,
It'd have to either shut off or like
Weird.
down regulate the tracking.
Yeah.
Where like it'll
Right.
it'll only ever report that you're going the speed limit or something.
right.
Even if you're doing whatever.
2 under.
Yeah. So there'll be hacks for it. Just like
Yeah.
And I mean, even modern engines, like you have to like quote unquote jailbreak them
Right.
before you tune them.
That's
like
true.
I remember that
Well,
when
mine
the
has
new,
to like fake the engine light and stuff too.
Right.
Like, it's all that.
well, yeah,
stuff.
even in like the Subaru.
Yeah.
But like with new cars, the computers are so much better.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that when the new Supra first came out,
Mm,
it was like when the first person cracked the code of the ECU
weird.
to be able to all like get
Yeah.
in there and edit it and
Yeah.
tune it and stuff. That was like kind of a big deal.
Weird. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. This stuff's
So
all
it'll be the same thing.
Yeah, it'll be the same, just with your license plate. So it'll
who's
be
gonna
a
hoon?
felony.
Yeah, that's actually because it's federal property, then,
Yeah.
right? It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's coming. Hopefully not here, but it's a
Yeah.
thing in some of the states. But for those of you guys, if anybody's in a state that has
I
those,
saw it on there. It was California. California sucks for cars anyway. So
well, California has it. It looked like there was a couple East Coast states that do. Michigan does. I think Illinois might have been. I don't remember. But if you're in any of the states that do have it, and if you guys have looked into it personally, send us a message. We'd love to hear like what you think about it, how it's been pitched to you, what that looks like.
yeah, I'd be curious how people were pitched on it if it's in your state. In California, I don't think it's mandatory.
No,
think
it's
it's
not
like
mandatory
available.
anywhere. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
thing that you can do, and I think
Yeah.
you have to pay a little extra to get it. It
Mhm.
is kind of cool, like especially if you've got a Tesla. Like that's kind of a cool
kind of
electric
flex.
license plate. It is kind
A
of a
little
cool
bit.
thing. Yeah, it totally is. So, and all this stuff was talking. Like to be fair, the concerns about it were all looking towards the future on if this became a mandatory thing. What does that look like now? Is there any different
Right.
things that come along with it? But we'd love to hear from you guys. Like if anybody has looked into it for their car, if they've seen it announced in the state, how is it being presented to you at the DMV when it comes time to renew?
Mm-hmm.
What does that all look like? Because that
that'd
part
be
makes me
interesting.
curious.
Well, it's like as soon as it comes out, say it comes mandatory. As
Mhm.
soon as it becomes mandatory, it's going to be hackable.
Yep.
And then like people are going to figure out like a little switch for it
Mm-hmm.
where you can just like shut off your license plate number.
Yeah.
And then just go ripping
Right?
through places
Right?
and just have your license plate off.
Yeah.
So nobody can see what it is.
Right.
Or change it.
Yeah.
You can like switch between license plates and stuff
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
So it's not like your true plate.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing that's nice about a physical plate
Right.
is like you can't as easily edit it.
Right.
Like if you're gonna
You're
steal a
putting
car or
different
whatever,
plate on. Yeah.
yeah, you got to be like it's not a quick thing. Got to
Right.
go back to that.
Good. So we're enabling criminal activity now, Zach. This is wonderful.
Right. Yeah. That's why
You're
we
like,
can't
so
have the
what we
plates.
need is
That's why we can't have the plates.
right.
Criminals want.
Yeah,
it.
we can't. We need to stick with regular plates.
Yes. Safer for
safer for everybody.
the people. Think about the children.